So for about a month now, I've been on this songwriting kick. Kind of came to me like a hurricane. It just all of these musical ideas, lyrics, song concepts, melodies, chord progressions just started coming to me about a month ago. And, just having fun, kind of started capturing some of them on my phone. Lo and behold, now I'm a couple tracks deep into I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm going to be doing with these tracks. Primarily, it's not that I'm trying to build an artist career at this point in my life, but writing songs, crafting songs, all the skill sets that I've had and I've built up throughout my life. It's definitely like a passion that I've had, since I can remember having bands when I was a teenager, essentially. So it's really fun to kind of tap back into that kind of creative energy, which is not about sync licensing. As I've been kind of getting lost in this really fun creative vibe that I've been in, it's been really just rejuvenating. And I am now clear on why this is something that maybe has been long overdue for me. And I wanted to share my experience with you guys because I know a lot of us that are in the sync licensing world, we can be really overwhelmed, to say the least, after months or years of constantly serving other people's needs, right? Because that's pretty much what we do. That's pretty much what I've coached you guys to do from the very beginning of my channel, and everything that we've talked about is it's not about you. It's not about us. It's not about the creative, necessarily the our creative pursuits, but it's really more about the brief and the client and the TV film client or the production library or whoever it is that you're trying to service with your music. And while that's really great advice in terms of being professional and getting the gig and obviously progressing in your sync licensing career, you can only go so far with that before you hit walls. And in my career, I hit so many walls, tons of walls, over and over again. The walls that were just saying, I'm done. Even if I was getting decent payments, getting sync fees, getting royalties, even getting placements, all that good stuff, just not feeling really fulfilled by constantly giving up my own creative energy for somebody else's vision. Always doing that every day, all day. It's okay to do that. And that's definitely one thing that we need to do to be useful to the world and to an industry. So it's not something that we should ever give up on. But finding a balance where we're doing that a good amount of the time, because that's going to pay the bills, that's going to get us ahead, that's going to secure the placements for us and the passive income and all the things we want, but not always doing that, right? And I certainly in my career probably too heavily valued that side of the industry or that side of music making and not enough of what I'm doing right now, which is how I've realized. I woke up this morning, I realized what I'm doing is I'm filling up my cup. That's what it really feels like. I feel like even with what I do is sync my music, and even here on this YouTube channel, mostly of all of what I do here is trying to serve you guys, helping you, giving you advice, putting out tutorials, giving feedback, connecting you with CEOs. It's all in a spirit of effort of trying to help and trying to be useful and trying to serve you. And while that's rewarding, and there's definitely, a reason why I've been doing it for this long, and it's not something that's completely, driving me nuts, it is still serving. It's still looking out for the interests of other people over and over and over and over and over and over again. And, and I hit these walls even in this current education business that I've set up where it's like, okay, I'm not really feeling really motivated. Things are sort of on autopilot. I'm kind of doing the same thing over and over again. The feeling of like growth is just not here anymore. What do I do? And something like this kind of hits me where all these songs are coming together and I'm putting all these really cool, musical ideas together. And it's like, that's what I haven't been doing in my life in a very long time. Between sync licensing, the projects, what I do with my sync my music business, being a dad, helping my kids out, being a provider, it's 99% of the time, what can I do for you? 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 Right? It's just constantly the world is pulling on me for all these things. And again, I'm not trying to claim victimhood at all. These are all choices I made. But that does take a toll on you after a while of just constantly giving and giving and giving. And eventually you've got nothing left to give, or at least your spirit and your motivation and your energy to give in, being like, just being in like a good mood while you're helping and giving, it can kind of start to sour. And I noticed that with myself in the last couple of months. And it was just, I don't like that. I really don't like that part of myself, or I don't like when I go into those phases of, doing the job, getting the job done, but kind of begrudgingly doing it, resenting doing it sometimes. And so this is definitely something that I just am really feeling that was long overdue for me to just kind of, this one's not for sync. This one's not for you guys here. This is not for my kids, even though, I do want to sort of show my daughters what music making is all about. I'm certainly playing for them the demos and the ideas, and I'll share with you guys some of my songs for sure here on this channel if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. But all of this, it's not for anybody else, just for me. This is 100% the songs I want to write, the lyrics I want to create, the melodies I want to put together, the stories I want to tell, the music that I want to put together, and it's just a selfish endeavor. And it's really good to do that from time to time. And I've realized that I have been bad about tapping into that sort of like filling my cup up energy in my career and in my life in general. So part of this, of course, is also that this June I'll be turning 40. And for those of you that have already gone through the 40 milestone, I'm sure you guys can, kind of attest to the feeling of, we're hitting a pretty big number here. How much life do I have left? How much time do I have? How much have I already lived? And of course, one of the big thoughts I had was, when I'm on my deathbed, God forbid, hopefully, it's not, for many, many decades into the future, but whenever it comes, will I have regrets that I didn't put out my own original music, whether it's me shopping, songs to artists or me just putting music out online? Well, I have regrets that I never quite did that, because that was really what I was going for in my early 20s and in my teens was, having bands and writing songs and pitching to artists and all that kind of stuff. And then sync licensing just kind of stumbled into my world, and I found a path of least resistance to earning income. So I took it, which I don't regret at all. But there's still that part of me that's like, held back there of like, but what about all that stuff? Is that still, could that be something we could still do or not? And I realized that like I will have zero regrets on my deathbed as long as I try, as long as I put out my best effort, as long as I just put music out into the world. I feel like I have something to give, something to share, something that I think is really high quality, and it's something that I want to keep getting better at. And I just enjoy the craft of it. And on my deathbed, I will not feel any regrets as long as I said, no, I put it out. And even if one person or nobody ever heard it, at least I didn't hold back. At least I didn't, completely just avoid a dream of mine, an actual passion of mine that I knew I really wanted to pursue. So I have now no option but to just move forward. And the really great thing about it, a little insight in terms of my personal life now, when I was in my early 20s, didn't have kids, life responsibilities were pretty limited other than I had a day job and I was working around the day job. But now with kids, with the responsibilities, with having to be, a primary provider for the family, I don't have the luxuries I had when I was in my early 20s. And that's actually the best gift I could actually ever ask for. Because when I come in here to the studio, I don't have time to tinker around and get lost on social media and just watch tutorials of people writing songs and how to produce music. I have maybe an hour or two, given the day and the time, and if we can get some breaks, with some help for the kids. And in those small chunks of time, I better be getting something done. I better get something progressed. And also what I've noticed in the first couple of tracks that I've completed, when I was in my 20s, if something wasn't quote unquote perfect, we've talked about that a million times, I'll just never quite finish it because I'll go like, I just don't know. It's not the best thing I've ever done, so I'm not going to finish that one. And knowing that I didn't finish that track, I'll start at another one and not finish that next one. And I've talked about that on this channel 1,000 times, that creating that bad habit of not finishing what you start trickles down into your later work. So now, the first track I completed, I am in love with. I'll probably show that one here on the channel first. The second one I did, I thought I really loved it at the very beginning. And as I finished the track, I was like, don't know if I really nailed that one. It's not my favorite one. But still, as I've been coaching you guys, I'm going to practice what I preach. I hit bounce. I finished it, got it done, because I knew I need to put this aside. I need to be done with this track, put a final on it, bounce it, so that I can move on to the next track. And I plan on doing dozens, probably up to 50 or 100 tracks. We'll see where the future takes us. But I have this new, really amazing workflow, which is cutting out all the fat, cutting out all the noise. If you guys are interested, I can share with you. I definitely have like kind of a sort of prescribed process that I follow. But again, I don't want you guys to feel like whatever your creative process is, don't like go, well, Jesse has a process, I should follow his. Because I'm not following anybody else's process. I mean, I'm taking little bits and pieces from different people's processes, but I've developed this for myself because my brain works the way my brain works. And I think all of you guys should be doing the same thing of like, don't listen to the experts, don't listen to a hit songwriter, don't listen to anybody, don't listen to me. Go into your gut, go into what's working, what can get you closer to hitting bounce and finishing the tracks that you're starting. And so I think actually having a pretty big birthday milestone coming up, having limited time with the obligations I have. It's pressure. These are all pressure. And for me, I do great under pressure. That's how I think I got started and did well with sync licensing in the beginning. I had a couple of years of unemployment benefits that were kind of barely paying my bills. And I knew once those are cut off, what do I got? I better have something in terms of a sync licensing career kind of started at that point. So that was pressure. That got me out of bed in the morning. That made me finish an album when I wasn't really feeling like doing it. That made me take on that next project when I was like, can I do it? Do I got another 10 in me? And then it was that other thought of like, well, you can go right back to a day job. You can go work for a startup again and go through all that fun stuff. And of course, I was like, hell no, I do not want to do that. I'll do anything to not go into that world. So that's just my brain. My brain works great under pressure and under limitations and under restricted time. You wouldn't maybe think so, but I have learned now at this point in my life that is actually what I need. Is I need some screws tightened on me, and the more that I feel them, the better my brain can focus, get things done, write it, and most importantly, finish things. And even if it's not the best thing I've ever done, I'm going to learn something from this song or from this project, and I'll carry it with me to the next one. And not every track is going to be the most amazing one I ever produce. This is about the craft. This is about getting better. And this is, of course, about eventually releasing all of these and putting them out into the wild. So anyways, just thought I'd turn on the camera today, give you guys some of my thoughts about what I've been going through. Let me know your thoughts below. Do you guys resonate with this, filling up your cup? Are you feeling drained right now? Some of you guys probably do. If you don't right now, trust me, you will in the very near future, because this industry, sync licensing, can absolutely drain you completely. And I've had some really tough but very honest conversations with some friends lately who have been feeling that way about the business. So I know a lot of you guys are in that camp one way or another. So please comment below. Let me know what you guys are going through. I'd love to hear about it.